Ladies and gentlemen, thank God Lee Zeldin survived an attempt on his life. New York GOP gubernatorial nominee Lee Zeldin attacked on stage during campaign stop near Rochester. This is the New York Post. It's all over NPR, Yahoo News, the New York Times, Fox News, Wall Street Journal, The Guardian. So it's all over the news now. And I'll read you a New York Post article. Thank God he's alive. And it's just really horrible. I'll get to my analysis of how we got to this situation in American politics. I'm actually watching okay, there you go. So if you go to the New York Post, you can actually see what took place. He was definitely confronted on stage by somebody with some kind of blade. But New York GOP gubernatorial nominee Lee Zeldin attacked on stage during campaign stop near Rochester. So you can go to the New York Post and watch what took place. And so Lee Zeldin, the Republican candidate for New York governor, was attacked during a campaign stop near Rochester in upstate Monroe County on Thursday night, but escaped injury and managed to finish his speech. Zeldin, also sitting U.S. Congressman from Long Island, was campaigning at the Veterans of Foreign Wars post in Parenton when a man jumped on stage and lunged towards the lawmaker with an unknown weapon. According to witnesses and video of the incident, quote, "I saw that he was approaching the congressman, so I jumped on stage," a witness told the Post. The suspect is 43 years old, identified of Fairport, New York. The suspect was charged with attempted assault in the second degree and released on his own recognizance. My God, Democrats have very little grasp of basic logic and reason. I understand. I'm all for criminal justice reform. Rand Paul is all for. He's at the forefront of criminal justice reform. I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. And the unofficial scribe of Sanders is the most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. That was a huge issue that I focused on, and I agree there should be criminal justice reform. I support President Trump because he signed the First Step Act, and obviously for a number of other reasons, primarily because of foreign policy, which was much better under Trump than under the current president we have, and also economic policy. We had, highest household median income in decades, record low unemployment, real wages up, real wages are down 4.4% with 9.1% inflation and a contracting economy in a recession, but at least Trump isn't tweeting. But that's another story I'll get to in a second. Criminal justice reform is an important issue. You don't let out people who try to take the life of another human being. You don't let them out. And you either hold them without bail or make the bail astronomical. And so, or hold them without bail. I mean, you can't, if you're trying to take someone's life, with Dave Chappelle, the same thing. The man was just, out on bail. So I don't get that. But, basically, he was attacked. Thank God he's okay. And how do we get to this point? First off, hit subscribe to this channel. Be here at about 6 p.m. Pacific tonight. I'll have my live streams earlier from now on. So I'll try to do my live streams earlier at around 6 p.m. or so Pacific. So be here for the live stream. But ladies and gentlemen, there is an unhealthy focus, a completely irrational, unhealthy, and harmful focus on Trump. This obsession that media has. There's no respite. There's no escape from the contempt and disdain. What did this man do? What did the orange monster do? Aside from a fantastic economy and mean tweets and the Doha Agreement that reversed U.S. foreign policy, that brought Americans home, that Biden completely botched. He asked for the help of our mortal enemies in that country, Biden did. We can go on forever, but the Doha Agreement was those 13 Americans and those over 100 Afghans should be alive today. But this president, mashed potato brains, is either he's surpassed Bush, he probably is second to Bush, as the George W. Bush is the worst president of all time. Second worst president after George W. Bush. Mashed potato brains is horrendous in every way. But we have Trump with a great foreign policy, fantastic economy, record low unemployment, real wages up. Real wages are down 4.4% with 9.1% inflation. But again, what did this man do? Like, you can't... What Democrats and media have done is they control social media algorithms. Twitter suspends the New York Post's account, prime example. You're never going to get BuzzFeed to get their account suspended for publishing the Steele dossier because the people at Twitter don't care, okay? And most of it, like, there's more than 5% bots, and so Elon Musk will win that battle, and he'll eventually purchase Twitter and allow free speech, which is the greatest enemy of morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats, especially, or people on the left. Because if they're confronted, the arguments pertaining to climate change and a whole bunch of other obsessions of the Democratic Party are easily refuted, or at least there's the discussion. Okay? Why is Biden, for example, flooding the country full of strategic petroleum reserves? Is that part of his climate change pact? No, it's not. Okay? He completely reversed course after getting sued by oil and gas associations because his policies were horrendous and made it more difficult for them to actually pump fossil fuels and extract fossil fuels. And so then he's now getting sued by environmental groups. But that's a whole other story. What is this obsession? This unhealthy... You have Democrats disowning friends and family. I thought that was bizarre years back. Okay? I lost 7, 8 friends just because I supported Trump. Oh my God. The greatest sin known to mankind. Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry. People kind. Sorry, Trudeau. But anyway, the greatest sin that's ever been committed is to support Trump. Okay? But what is this insanity, this apoplectic and hysterical and completely irrational obsession with Trump on the left and in media? Is there a reason why Rolling Stone and Vanity Fair and Esquire and The Atlantic and Time Magazine have the exact same articles on Trump as the New York Times and Washington Post and New Yorker and New York Magazine and the Daily Beast? They have the exact same articles. Trump bad, horrible, mean, oh my God, terrible. And they must be writers on The Tonight Show because Jimmy Kimmel, then you have the same, he's spouting the same nonsense as all those other publications, how Trump is so horrible. But not only Jimmy Kimmel, then you have Stephen Colbert, and then, he's devoted his life to being against Trump, and then there's no respite, you can't escape this. And then you have John Oliver, and then Trevor Noah, and Trevor Noah is the best of all of them. At least but he still can't stand Trump. At least he's more logical, but still he can't stand. He's just focusing. Then there's Seth Meyers. So you have and then Corden, and then they all. So you have all of late night. You have social media algorithms. You have pretty much every publication out there. People Magazine, Teen Vogue. What are you talking? What? They're focusing on Trump also. You have something that's unique. We have never seen this in modern American life. You could say, well, you know what? The journalism at the turn of the century was even worse. Or at the beginning of the country. But we've never seen this in modern American life. There is this zeitgeist, this absurd universe where it's virtuous to condemn or to show disdain against Trump. It is a virtue. It is an actual, it's viewed as a positive character trait. It is, think about that for a second. It's actually a character flaw. Like, if you don't like Trump, fine. If you don't like his personality, fine. If you don't like who he is, you don't like his policies, that's another story. You don't like record low unemployment with real wages up, you have a problem. You don't like a growing economy. You don't like household median income. I was watching a liberal YouTuber versus Jordan Peterson in a debate, and the liberal YouTuber said, oh, outsourcing was up under Trump's. Yeah, okay. There are probably other reasons other than Trump's policies, but outsourcing was up, and guess what? Household median income was also up. Okay? And income levels for, individual Americans were also up. And so, for individuals were also up. And so, incomes for non-college educated citizens were up. Everyone's income was up. Everyone got, then they said, well, the tax cuts helped the rich. Everything helps the rich. The whole Bernie Sanders shtick, believe me, I know it better than anybody. The billionaires will always benefit. Recession, depression, billionaires will be fine. If there's a growing economy, billionaires will always be fine. Don't ever compare the current economy or the state of affairs to what billionaires are doing. It's like the most absurd way of looking at the world. They'll always make out just fine no matter what. The point is, under Trump, wealth inequality was decreasing. Now it's increasing. Okay, if you want to talk about that. So if you would rather have a terrible economy because you can't stand Trump's tweets, that says something about your character flaws. But see, again, what does this have to do? There's a political amnesia pertaining to Trump and the way life is in this country. If you have $1 to $2 billion in property damage, 14,000 arrests, and 19 lives lost that summer, and I agree with the cause. But you have Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney not condemning anything that took place that summer, not condemning the churches being destroyed after the Dobbs decision. The political violence and chaos is coming primarily from, and this is a fact, this is not opinion, it's coming primarily from the left. And is there violence and chaos from the right? Yeah, but nothing compared to 14,000 arrests, $2 billion plus in property damage. That's only insured property damage. Buildings, businesses destroyed, 19 lives lost, churches being destroyed after the Dobbs decision, for example. Kavanaugh almost had his life taken. Then you have Lee Zeldin almost had his life taken. You've had threats against Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. And who knows how many threats there have been against Trump. It is now a virtuous, it's a source of pride to condemn and just show this disdain towards Trump or Trump Republicans. So you have people, who aren't doing well, perhaps, in terms of their lives. It's like you have all of this. Media downplays and media suppresses the actual what's actually taking place. So, if, for example, January takes place, it's one day, horrendous, but oh, by the way, there was a female unarmed Trump supporter who had her life taken. Where are the activists? She was unarmed. She's female. But see, again, you're talking about hypocrisy. I support what took place. I support why people demonstrated. Okay, but you can't. You have curfews all throughout that summer, and then Trump is the bad person because he cleared Lafayette Square. Well, where is the wonderful footage of all these peaceful demonstrators? They were not peaceful. A church was burned, and Trump showed his support for that church holding the Bible. But the way media spun it, and that was one of the many fake stories. including Don Jr. getting notification of emails, all that stuff. There were like 20, 30 stories that had to be retracted that just promoted this hysteria against Trump. The Steele dossier, Trump, Russia, none of that happened. Trump never worked with the Kremlin, ever. He never colluded, which was the accusations leveled against him. And if he benefited, it was because of the corruption within the Democratic Party. Sorry, you're actually the opponents of the Democratic Party are gonna benefit because of the massive corruption people find out about. Sorry, that's just basic logic. Okay, that's what happens when you're that corrupt. You cheat your own candidate in Bernie Sanders, who's too much of, he's a good person, but too cowardly to actually admit he was cheated, and then he gets cheated again 4 years later in Iowa. And then, coincidentally, or, the heavens open up and Bernie Sanders was supposed to win, but Pete Buttigieg won. Fantastic. And then they found out an app was created by a former Clinton campaign team of people. By the way, Hillary will be the nominee. That's a whole other story. I was one of the few people on YouTube saying that Clinton would lose to Trump, and I did predict the stock market crash and economic decline we're seeing. Now just wait until Hillary takes over for mashed potato brains as nominee. And I want that to happen. She'd be better than Biden, obviously. I want it to happen because I believe that Trump would defeat Clinton again. But I want to see, one of the main reasons I want every left-leaning pundit and journalist to tell people to vote for Hillary Clinton again. I want that to happen. I want them to relive 2016 because we're living in like this matrix, this alternate reality of 2016. Every day is a repeat of 2016, by the way. And we haven't put that 2016 to rest. And so, hey, you know what? The Russians stole it from Hillary. I believe that now. Okay, fine. Not really. But that's actually what Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Strzok and McCabe and all these people told us. So let's do it all over again. Okay? And this time, if we find out, God forbid, just understand any corruption that we learn about is a plot by the Kremlin and by Vladimir to let us know how corrupt Democrats are, thus pushing us towards Trump. And we have to remember not to vote for Trump. Because if we vote for Trump, that would be giving in to what Vladimir wants. Anyway, there's an unhealthy obsession with Trump on the left. There's a reason you can't relax and go to bed and watch Jimmy Kimmel without him spewing anti-Trump nonsense. Okay? Everyone. Bill Maher is generally against Trump, Republicans in general. So you can't escape it. Virtually all of media. And yes, of course, there are conservative Republicans. Then you have never Trumpers like Kinzinger and Cheney. And you can't escape it. Yet 70+ million Americans, almost half the electorate, chose Trump and a great economy and a great foreign policy. Foreign policy is a catastrophe now. And so, what does that have to do with what happened to Lee Zeldin? Reality is not reflected in journalism today, and media has too much of an influence still on the perception of reality. There are too many people who view Trump to be an existential issue. And because of that, they view any Republicans but especially Republicans that support Trump, like Lee Zeldin, who's awesome, who should win. I mean, my God, if you're in New York and you've had enough of the crime and all of that, vote for Lee Zeldin. But anyway, the chaos and mayhem is coming from one political side. You can look in aggregate at the property damage, at the arrests, at the lives lost. Go to Wikipedia. I'm not even this is not like conjecture, hyperbole, Just draw a T-chart. Look at all the property damage, all the lives lost, all the arrests. And yes, I agree with the cause that summer. But look at also what's taken place with Dobbs. The church is destroyed. Look at all, look at just, you could draw a T-chart and compare That violence and that chaos and mayhem serves the purpose of the Democratic Party. Chaos and mayhem doesn't serve Trump's purpose. There is no purpose there. Like it doesn't help him in any way. Okay, one day, which was similar to what happened every day that summer, and they have a committee and it's the end of the world and democracy is tarnished, all this stuff. But see, they didn't do that summer. And they didn't do, where's Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger condemning the carnage after the Dobbs decision? Okay, you don't see them doing that. Anyway, there's a reason they don't do that. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Terrible, terrible thing that took place. And God bless Lee Zeldin and his family, and I'm glad he's safe. I'll be back, obviously, in a couple of hours. Subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel and the Bitcoin Crash channel. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll have a live stream earlier this evening, about 6 p.m. Pacific.